Hello, 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 and welcome back to another episode of the Caffeine and Sensu Beans podcast. I'm joined by the boy, Shaween. How you doing, man?
What up? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Um, yeah, just chilling right now. How about
Yeah,
you?
I'm doing good. We were just talking off air about Arsenal.
Yeah,
Um,
it's my favorite team in England, by the way.
yeah, and you were saying how you were talking about what's his name? Hugh
Hugh
is it Hugh
Weezy.
Wizzy?
Yeah, Hugh Wizzy. It's my
Yep.
guy, the fraudulence, the king.
Yep.
Yeah.
Um, do you watch AFTV?
Uh, s- s- no, I watch Troops TV. My
Oh,
other
okay.
guy, he's just yelling. He's like with another little dude. But sometimes I watch AFTV though.
Yeah, Troops
Sometimes.
came from AFTV. Yeah.
Yeah. He
Yeah,
split off.
yeah, he got a sweet deal, I'm sure, to go to Barstool,
Oh,
dude,
I'm sure.
because they
Yeah, I'm
brought his ass
sure.
over to
Yeah.
America. Uh,
Yeah, he's over here chilling. He has his own studio and
he
stuff.
does, dude. It's hella funny with the little dude he's got on that's always interviewing him.
Uh-huh.
That fool is hella
Boy
funny.
Za.
That's boy.
The way
Nah,
they
that's
always change his like the way he always changes like his stool or like the
yeah,
way he's like
yeah,
standing.
yeah, yeah. The fool is classic, dude. Uh, nah, that's good stuff. The whole like um YouTube like football scene, the way they started it was sick. Like really that dude, Robbie,
Mhm.
he was like a pioneer for that. And cuz and it was just like stand outside with the microphone, talk to the folks after the game. They normally have hot takes cuz the game just ended and they're if they lost, they're pretty emotional. If they won, they're probably on a high. And then out of that, dude, a bunch of like other teams started to do the same. Like Liverpool, they have Redmond TV. Manchester United, they have. I mean, it's not really the same, but they have one. West Ham, Chelsea. So like, it's crazy. I remember watching it like 5, 6 years ago, and it was cool. It was entertaining. I didn't know it would blow up like this, dude. It's just insane. They got like a AFTV. They got like a real
Yeah, it's pretty cool to see, man.
yeah,
The power of the internet.
for sure. Like the way uh like the way YouTube has exploded, it's made conventional TV so it's put them in such a difficult spot, you know, that like now
Mhm.
they don't know how to
Yeah.
survive, right? Like that's the biggest challenge is like here comes this like this new form of media that more people are gravitating towards, and like conventional cable just doesn't know what the hell to do. Like regular TV networks, they're trying to adapt. Uh, but it's pretty cool to see like, this new form of media come in because it's like, over here we have first take, right? And first take is just like hot takes. You have 3 minutes and you can't really unpackage an idea. But on YouTube, you don't have that, right? Like you don't have you can sit down and really like talk about something super thoroughly and
Mhm.
then and you don't have to answer to like advertisers that need say like, oh, we need our ad aired at this time right now, right? So
Yeah. It's
it's
like
really
it's just
cool.
in your own power. I have a friend that he wants to start. He's starting his own podcast about sports and just how much power you have just to be able to just do that. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't need to go through
You're not
them anymore. You
shackled,
can just
right?
yeah, you can do it through your own. So, even if you're listening to this right now, if you're thinking about doing something like this, then
Go for
man,
it,
it's just go for it.
for sure.
Try just try your best and just go for it because they're trying to catch up with us right now.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like they're trying to find out new ways. So what a lot of, especially like England, one of the things Sky Sports has done is they've hired these like um real popular personalities.
Hmm.
So like KSI, um, this dude Chunks, right? Like they have them to bring in some of their like market, right? Like bring in
Hmm.
their attention. And so um it's like, yeah, these influencers are it's the new wave, dude. That's the where things are trending and stuff, you know.
Yeah, man. Maybe we should go park outside and pick out our microphones in front of the Earthquakes games.
Shit, dude. Hey, why not, dude? Hey, when this comes back, I mean, why not, right? I mean, who
Earthquakes
knows?
TV. Quakes
Earthquakes,
TV.
yeah, Quakes TV, dude. I mean, you already got it right there. It's just we gotta just get the mic and be
Get
like,
the mic and go out
"What do you
there.
think?"
But we're not gonna get the hot takes though, because I feel like what Arsenal was able to encapsulate was because I think the Arsenal fan base is kind of young.
Uh
I
huh.
think I think for the most part, I think they attract a young fan base.
Audience, yeah,
Uh, and like so you just had a lot of like, just blowouts of like, are you mad? Are
right,
you mad, bruv? Are you
yeah,
mad?
exactly. Dude, you sound just like troops.
Yeah.
That's hella funny because, and the thing here is like soccer in Europe and like England is a passion, right? Like
Yeah.
it's 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 like soccer is just it's interwoven into the culture. Where here it's nice. I don't know if we're at that level yet though, where we're gonna have that passionate Quake fan. I mean, I'm sure we will have some, but I remember when we left I went to go watch them play for them to qualify to the playoffs 2 years ago. Who did they
Mhm.
play? Um,
The Sounders?
the Sounders, dude. Yep.
Mhm.
And they lost that game. Dude, I'm like, I mean,
Nobody's pissed.
yeah, I was like, dude,
They're like, all right,
we
next
gotta be
season.
furious. Yeah.
Next season.
Like, we gotta be furious, dude. We literally just squandered the chances. And I mean, people were disappointed, but they were like, oh, okay. Like, it's not like it's some were really pissed, but it's still not at that level where it's like or you feel it deep down in your gut, right? The anger,
Yeah.
the frustration. Like you would get with like an Arsenal who've been struggling for years now.
Oh Lord. Yeah,
I
it's
told you,
horrible.
right? Did I tell you this? I saw
What?
on my Instagram a news like on my feed. I saw a post that said breaking news. Allegri's learning English so that he could reject
Uh-huh.
Arsenal. It was
No, I think
hilarious.
I think they should just I think they should just stay with Arteta and just survive the wave, but they need to get rid of the garbage that they got there.
Yeah,
They
dude,
need to get rid of it. Like it's just dead weight at this point. Get rid of David Luiz, let them
hmm
finish, let William, Mustafi, let them
yeah,
just go somewhere else, finish their career somewhere else because it's just not it's not a
it
soccer
is.
podcast, it's not Arsenal podcast, but
They're
it's
struggling
ridiculous.
for
What I'm
sure.
seeing from my team is just embarrassing week in, week out. Like they were on a little run that they had won 3 games, and then now they just tied against Fulham, and then like
They're back on a
it was
skid, right?
no against Crystal Palace It was horrible, dude. It was such a boring game. Like they can't create any chances, and then the one creator that they do have, they're like, oh, let's not play him because
Right.
we're hella cool.
Yeah, exactly. I and they have good players, dude. Like Aubameyang is a good player, you know. That dude Martinelli, I think he's a good player. Like I think he's got some promise. So I mean, I think they have good players, but yeah, like you said, this ain't a soccer podcast, but we do want to start an ultimate team podcast, and maybe we'll be able to get a FIFA Ultimate Team podcast. Maybe we'll be able to talk about these type of things a little bit more. Um, but yeah, dude. Hey, before we get started though, I wanted to ask you, do you have any Netflix shows that you've been watching that you recommend? Because I actually got one for you. I'm like, I have to recommend this. And it um it works a little bit because it's a Japanese one, and obviously Dragon Ball is Japanese, anime is Japanese. So yeah, you got any Netflix series you recommend? Give me one that you're like, I get okay. I definitely recommend this. Before we jump into the movie, we got,
I don't know
the
if you, yeah. One on have you seen that?
which one, dude? My bad, you cut out a little bit.
Money Heist. This audio is about to be ridiculous. on my end.
I'm about to edit
The
it. I'm
money
about
money
to-
heist. Have you seen?
Money Heist. That sounds familiar. Uh,
It's a Spanish show, like from Spain. It's
is it the one where they're in Ibiza? This audio is about to be wild. Hey, this audio is about to be
nah
off the charts.
nah.
Nah, it's okay though. I'll just edit it. Um, uh,
Hold on, no, hold on. I'm gonna call you from my phone. I'm gonna call you from my phone because I think this is just this. I think this is the way it's gonna be. So I let me join this call from my phone.
okay.
Yo,
All right. Yeah, now it's fucking clean, dude. Now you
there
even
you
look
go.
crispier.
There you go. No, that this internet is
It's ridiculous, huh? The DSL.
ridiculous. No, tomorrow's class is gonna be fun.
Oh shit. That's gonna be clean, dude. That's gonna be a cool ride right there.
What the hell's happening over there?
Mm. Nah, but as you were saying, dude, you were
They're just
talking
like
about what's up?
they're just in denial about just
The
getting
DSL or what?
on DSL. Now, bless their hearts.
uh you gotta save money somehow.
Uh,
Hey, you were saying about Money Heist because I thought that was the shoot. I thought that was the one where they're in Ibiza.
nah, Money Heist is the one where they're like, I mean, they're all over the place. I know that they do one for Madrid. They do another
Oh,
one in shit. I'm forgetting other places that they also do it in, but they kind of go all over Spain a little bit. But yeah,
mhm.
it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. It's about like doing a heist, and it's really interesting. I thought it was really interesting. I think to me when I look at a show like that, I just love to look at how they develop characters. You know what I'm saying? Like they have such a they just have such a talent at like making the viewer invested in characters,
For
which I think
sure.
that's the beauty of writing
Mhm.
and really good storytelling. You know what I'm saying? When you can have an audience really care about your character, I think you've done a great job. You know.
Exactly. And dude, that's what I was gonna say. Like the one I recommend is Giri Haji.
Uh,
Um, it's I think I forget how many episodes it is. It's just one season. But it's so good, dude. It's basically this this Japanese detective whose
Hmm.
brother was in the Yakuza, but his brother was in the Yakuza like not so much by his own will, like he was in it, but it wasn't like that was what he wanted to be when he grew up. Like he was never fascinated by that life, but he joined it, for a set of reasons. And his brother, like the main character, one of the main characters, is a detective. And so his brother ends up covering up, like the detective ends up covering up for his brother who's in the Yakuza, tells him to flee Japan. Then that this dude, they think that the dude that was in the Yakuza, the brother, he dies, right? But it turns out he may not be dead. And the Yakuza come knocking at the detective's door, and they're like, you find your brother or we find him. And the thing is, like, the brother's a detective. So it's like, if he finds him, he has to arrest him. If he doesn't find him, and the
Hmm.
Yakuza find him, he's dead. Like his brother's getting killed. And so it's like the whole story kind of around what is like is revolves around that, like the brother having to deal with this whole like, what do I do? I mean, if I arrest him, that's my brother. I'm arresting my brother, and I'm never gonna see him again. If I don't arrest him, the Yakuza is gonna find him eventually and kill him. And uh, it's like it's super crazy, and it's kind of like we talked about that other day, where it's like that gray area where like you can't tell what's right and what's wrong. Like you and I can have different perspectives on like, oh, he should do this, because like that's
Yeah.
the right thing to do. And then you could be like, oh, he should do this because that's the right thing to do. So yeah, Giri Haji, I definitely recommend it. And anyone who's listening, I would definitely recommend it.
Dope.
Yeah. So let's get into it, dude. What do you
Let's get
think?
into it, man. Let's hop in.
What do you think? All right. So for those that don't know, we did watch what is it called? Broly the Second Coming? I don't even remember.
Broly the Second Coming. That is the
Yeah.
film for today.
Broly the Second Coming, dude. Give me one word to sum it up. Like what if you had to like, sum it up in one word, what would it be?
My word would be unnecessary.
Yeah. Mine would be besides trash, it would be if I'm being for reals, it would be satire. Um,
Satire. I wrote that in my notes.
did you?
I
Um,
did.
why do you feel unnecessary?
This movie was like unnet. Like they took so many unnecessary decisions. Like it was a lot of unnecessary decisions, and it was an unnecessary movie. To be honest with you, I
Mm-hmm.
think this movie added nothing to the storylines or anything. I want to say that possibly the only thing that I would say that like they maybe were going for was like trying to make Gohan like seem like a beast, like that,
Right.
like he was like he was the next animal up in line. Maybe this was like coming like I would interpret this as like possibly before Boo.
Yeah, because Goku's dead, right? Yeah.
Goku's dead and
And
he's a little older,
mhm,
so maybe this was like their attempt at trying to pass the baton to Gohan as the main character.
mhm,
Um, I don't know. I'm taking a guess here, but it was just unnecessary. Like the way they went about it, the fact that they brought back Broly, unnecessary. Like the kids, unnecessary. That village, unnecessary. Like it,
yeah. Nothing.
it's just nothing was necessary in this
Right.
film.
Yeah, yeah, and that yeah, I agree. Normally we find like, oh, okay, if you squint hard enough, they have something here. Like we talked about that with some of the other movies we watch. Like, they have something here and we can appreciate it. This, like, um, there were some pieces that I found redeemable, but for the most part, it was like I didn't know if to take the movie serious or to not take it serious because uh they want to focus on Goten and Trunks, right? But but then it's like they end up having Gohan come in, and he's not shown until like 45, like 30 minutes into the movie, you know, because they're probably like, well, it won't make sense if Gohan and Trunks defeat Broly, because yeah, it wouldn't. So they need Gohan. And it felt like it was all over the place. It felt like, yeah, they definitely didn't think about this. I mean, we're gonna get to Broly in a minute, but my God, that was like ridiculous. Um, but as far as like the village, I kind of liked it. It was something that I haven't seen in Dragon Ball, like where they do something like that. Uh, like it just felt different, and I guess I was scraping at the bottom of the barrel to
You're
find
like
redeemable
you're looking
pieces.
for any redeemable quality
Yeah,
in this.
yeah, yeah. But it was all right. It was cool. Like it was different, so I appreciate that. I did like that Videl was in it. I thought she was cool. You know, um, it was cool that she got screen time. Trunks and Goten, I have like I don't know, man. How'd you feel about Trunks and Goten?
Well, let me hit on the points that you just said because I didn't like the village. So I'm on the other end. I thought the village was a waste of time. It was a why should we care about this village? And there's nothing there for me in my opinion. So I'd say it was a waste of time. Didn't
But
didn't
here's
really appreciate
but
the way they depicted shamanism and indigenous healing. So there was that part too. So I didn't really like that. I thought Videl, while it was cool, I thought they really misplayed her character. Like that first scene when Broly comes back, like how is Videl keeping up with him?
yeah, she's
Like,
not.
dude, Broly. So this is the thing, right? We just finished watching the first one, so we've seen what Broly is and what
Yeah,
animal he is. He's a beast.
yeah, like
You're telling me little Videl is able to keep up,
dodges
and
punches, but Goku's getting
they haven't
decimated.
done they haven't done nothing to like set that up. Like they didn't do anything to set that up that Videl could do that. Like where before that did they establish that? They didn't establish that she's like a beast. So
Hmm.
I'm sorry. That's so those two points. And then for the little kids, you know I have a hard time with these kids because these kids to me they they're not that interesting to me. I don't think that their comedy is that interesting, and I think that they not really sure as to how to really develop them because
Hmm.
they're little kids. And I think that they only have little kids because we had Gohan in the past and we liked Gohan because he was a little kid. So and they want to keep Trunks because we like Trunks. Um, but they just kind of fall flat for me. And I hated the fact that like the main reason Broly comes back, if you haven't seen the film, is and we talked about this when we did the first movie, was that the main reason Broly dislikes Goku is because he cries.
Hmm.
He's a baby. So in this film, they do like a recall. And the thing that wakes up Broly is Goten screaming at the top of his lungs because he can't get an apple.
Hmm.
And it was just so ridiculous. It made me feel like I thought my intelligence was being insulted by this because it was like, God, what are you talking about?
Like he
Like,
hasn't cried before. I mean, you would think he's cried before. Broly would have heard that.
yeah, and that's what wakes him up. So to me, I just have a problem with the way they just roll these kids out and just
Hmm.
there's nothing redeemable about him. I think my that was one of my least favorite parts. Other least favorite parts when he peed on him. While I can see why it would be funny, it really breaks Broly's character.
Yeah, it kind of it's a moment where it breaks the tension. Like it's like, oh, okay, Trunks really. I don't know. It's like it was a super serious moment, and then it just gets shattered by not
Yeah,
serious action. And with Goten and Trunks, there are little like moments in the movie that I did like, but I think the challenge they have is when these two are the main characters, the movie almost can't be serious because they're little kids and they're they're not like they're not taken serious, right? Like the way the writers have gone with these characters, they're not characters that you take serious. You don't find them intimidating. And so whenever they're the main characters, they're at the forefront of the film, it's like, okay, can this film be serious? No, because these kids are like they're kids and they're viewed as satirical. So like it's not a good mix. Broly, who was this animal, and these kids, where it kind of fit was with Bio Broly. You know, we watched Bio Broly, and Bio Broly, we knew he wasn't the regular Broly. It was kind of like it was strange. Hercule was there, like everything kind of thematically it fit with having Trunks and Goten as the main characters. But here, like it doesn't make sense. You know, there's such a difference in their character, like in terms of power level, like what they mean to the end of the world. Like Broly could finish the world if he wanted to with the snap of his fingers. Where
Mm-hmm.
like Trunks and Goten, I don't even know if they could beat Krillin. I mean, I'm sure they could, but you know, they're not nowhere near that power level. So it's not a good mix. And that's why I found it like difficult to kind of appreciate their appearances. You know, like you said, Goten crying, it was just like, ah man, that's it. That's just
That's just
they were lacking
lazy.
imagination there.
That's just lazy writing. I mean, we were
Yeah,
just talking
dude.
about writing. That's just lazy writing, lazy plot development, you know, lazy plot progression. Like it is
Hmm.
just we need a reason for Broly to come back, and the reason is this kid crying, and it's just not,
Hmm.
you
That's what
know,
wakes him up, dude.
that's
And
what
how did
wakes
that
him
man
up.
survive, dude? Like
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like
he
there was
got
a
destroyed, bro.
in the beginning, yeah, he got destroyed, and then all of a sudden he's in a pod. I'm like, how did he
Hmm.
get into a pod?
Right. They don't show that.
They don't show that. And I'm like,
Right.
did somebody throw him off the pod, or did he just throw himself out of the pod? Like, what happened in that pod that he got ejected out of the pod?
Right. I know it's not the one his dad was in, Paragus, because he
For sure,
destroyed
because he
that
destroyed
thing.
it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
destroyed it. So it's not Paragus. We know
Right.
that. So who's in that? They didn't really talk about it. They didn't really, you know, explain that, how he got back. I don't even
Right.
think they know how they got back. I think they just
Exactly.
wanted to have Broly back again. That's my big. I think that's my
Exactly.
theory.
And I juxtapose this with the Namek saga. The Namek saga is like a great saga. I mean, obviously a lot of people know that, but um Goku at the end, like dude, when I first saw that saga and I see the world blow up, I'm like, of course, you know, I was younger and I'm like, no way. They really just killed off my favorite character. Because you know, he's like he's looking for he was his plan was to escape using Frieza's ship, but and the world's coming like the world's on the verge of exploding because Frieza's destroyed its core. And so Goku obviously destroyed Frieza and he's like looking to get off on the ship. And the last scene you see is like Goku, he's like screaming, right? Like because nothing's working, and then he just like unleashes a bunch of rage and the and Namek explodes. Well, fast forward, obviously we know he survives, but they show how he survived. Like he was able to find one of the shoot, I forget who it is. He was able to find one of like I think it was one of like Frieza's, I don't know if it was like Dodoria's Arbonne, but some one of Frieza's henchmen's ships, and he was able to like get in like a pod, and he was able to get in it and activate it, and he was able to escape. And he just went wherever he could to escape Namek. So they went out of their way to really like explain how Goku survived, even though
Yeah.
when we thought like there's no way he could survive that. And I felt like with this, they just even with Cooler, dude, like even with the return of Cooler or Cooler's return, at least they tried to explain why that man was alive.
It was a horrible explanation, though.
But at least there was one. All right.
Though, like it's like, and that's the problem with Broly and Cooler. Like they shouldn't have been back to begin with. Like that,
Yeah.
you're trying to make something up for both of them to survive, and it's like, no, dude, like they're dead. Like let's just leave them there. Like no way Cooler survived that. I don't care what
no
anyone
way.
says, dude.
He got blasted into the
Cooler
sun.
for me in my head and in my world vision, Cooler only has one movie.
Right.
That second movie is ridiculous, and this one is also ridiculous. So,
but this one's worse, dude. This one's worse.
No, this one's pretty bad. This one's Fusion 13 like worthy. Like,
yeah,
I would even make an argument that it might even be worse.
Nah,
like,
that's not possible, bro.
Okay, when we get to our rating, I think I'm gonna make my case for why I think it's worse. But
well,
this might be the lowest film for me.
Nah, hold up. Okay, hold up.
Well, we're not gonna get to our ratings right now. We're not gonna get to our ratings, but yeah.
But
just brace yourself for when that's coming up.
But there is one part I did like, and that's when Kid Trunks when Trunks is scared, and he's scared shitless, and he's like hiding behind the waterfall, and he's just not trying to get caught. And at one point he kind of tells himself like, why am I being such a coward? My dad would be ashamed of me, you know? Mm-hmm. And I kind of like that piece because it's the only kind of reference to the father-son relationship we talk about. And, you know, of course, Vegeta has high standards, and kids to a degree, they want to live up to like their parents' expectations. And so it was pretty cool to see that. Because it's a little moment of vulnerability, even if it's just for like a few seconds or a second. I thought that was cool to see. But then it just goes back to like, you know, he ends up taking a piss, and then Goten is taking a piss like at the most inopportune time.
Yeah, there's a lot of child nudity in this film.
Yeah, there's yeah, they just don't get. Well, there was one also in like Dragon Ball is not they're not like they've gone down that route. Obviously, they don't really do it now, but definitely you can tell like this is anime compared to like regular cartoon. Like you're not gonna see that in Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Of course, yeah.
But the one thing we talked about last when we watched the first Broly movie was, to me, I really like Paragus. I think you like Paragus also, and
I did. Mm-hmm.
And he was, like you said, the brains to the operation, and you used that Brock Lesnar analogy, and we ended it kind of saying, well, we'll see if Broly could carry a film on his own. Right. And
the answer's pretty clear.
Yeah, it's a resounding hell no. But let's get to Broly, dude. What are your thoughts? Because that's the meat and potatoes. Like that's the big draw in this movie.
That's the big draw. Yeah. One, his origin story or like the way he got there is just really convoluted or not very clear. So that's kind of my first knock.
Already starting off on the wrong foot.
Starting off on the wrong foot. I mean, the man doesn't get any lines. No, dude, it took us until minute 44 for us to get one line out of this man.
That wasn't Kakarot.
No, it wasn't even that line. It was like, you have to beg to you at my feet or something like that.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like he got one line that wasn't Kakarot.
Yeah. And it took us all the way until minute 44 to get something out of him. It almost felt like it almost felt like it was a robot. Like it wasn't Broly. I don't want to believe that was Broly. Like it was just like it almost felt like it wasn't the one from the first movie. Like I even felt like he even looked a little different. If I'm not mistaken, he looked a little bit more thinner. He looked a little bit like less menacing. Mm-hmm. I think that they tried to clean him up a little bit, but it was just not. It was just not a good. Not a good performance. Yeah, not a good performance by my guy. He was just bland. It was just uncooked chicken, you know what I'm saying? Unseasoned chicken. It was just not this is not it. He didn't have no character development. I thought his chemistry with the kids was horrible. Chemistry with Gohan was even like, I would even say
Worse.
that was even worse. Like it was just not, like there wasn't even like a callback to when Gohan was little. You know what I'm saying? Like that could have
Mm-hmm.
been a cool callback to see when
That's
Gohan
true.
was getting like about to get destroyed by him and Piccolo came to save him. Like I thought that was a cool callback because I think Broly looked like he was about to like crush his head if I'm not mistaken, or like
Mm-hmm.
he was about to do something to little Gohan. So that could have been a cool callback. But I'm confused as to why they didn't do more callbacks. Like
Right.
I thought this film would have benefited from at least some, you know, because in other films they do callbacks, and I mean they're pointless. But like in this one, I thought it actually could have helped the film if you knew Broly wasn't going to say anything, because they wrote this film
Yeah.
and then they let it out, and you knew Broly wasn't going to say anything.
Right.
Then why don't you just cut back to Paragus? Like
Mm.
just cut back to him
Yes.
and just let him do it, even though he's not there. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been a clever way to just have a talking piece, because as the movie stands, we had a, a mute villain.
Oh, dude. Yes, we did. It, yes. Yes, we did.
You know what I'm saying? We had an antagonist that didn't talk, didn't say anything. So then you're letting the good people or the protagonists having to fill up the air, and they're filling it with nonsense. So it was a lot of nonsense in this movie. Like they didn't talk about anything,
Right. Right.
you know?
Um yeah, no, I agree. I mean, he was I mean, if we were to rank him in terms of antagonist, not I mean, I know he's a popular character. He looks cool. He's strong. But let's be honest, dude. In terms of antagonists, villains, main villains, not little side filler stuff. He's at the bottom of the list.
He's at the bottom of the list. I mean, especially this iteration,
Yep. Yep.
especially this iteration of it.
I mean, it's the thing is, um, the whole I don't want the whole movie was lazy, and maybe that would have been a more fitting word because one, they didn't know whether the movie was meant to be serious or satirical, and I feel like Broly, he can't be in the movie that's where the theme is be funny, like
Yeah,
because then it's doing a
yeah,
disservice to Broly, the
I agree
character,
with you. Yep.
and um but then if the movie's going to be super serious, you got to handle Goten and Trunks in a different way, in a way that maybe wouldn't fit with their character. So I think they could have used this movie to, because I know you said Gohan was kind of, they wanted to give him shine, but that's if you're squinting and they're like, maybe that was the case. The movie revolved more around Trunks and Goten. I think had they revolved this movie around Gohan, I think maybe it would have worked a little bit better because, like you said, they could have had some callbacks. He would have had, flashbacks to when he first saw Gohan and he was like, traumatized by him, something like that. Because this guy he was vicious,
Yeah.
Because the way Gohan reacted when he saw Broly, and granted, Goten and Trunks, they're fighting, but they're fighting him, so he's got to help them. But dude, it doesn't compare to like someone like Vegeta. Vegeta knew what Broly was all about, and when Vegeta saw Broly for the first time, he crapped his pants, right? He was terrified, right? Because he knew what Broly was, and like Gohan, you didn't get a sense of that. He's just like, I'm gonna charge in and fight him, uh,
Well,
and
there's not
so
even like there's not even like an orientation for the little kids. Like, you know, I wish they would have done that. Like, I think that could have played a little bit of more of a role of like, let's orient these kids of like who the hell you're in front of. Like,
yeah, exactly.
respect who the hell you're in front of. You're in front of the legendary Super Saiyan, so we're gonna
Hmm.
treat him as such. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not gonna pee on this guy. You're not gonna like some sort of like explanation to the little kids of like, you're in front of a big dog right now
Yeah,
and you're trying to hold your own, and like
right.
that's impressive, but let me handle this, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like they didn't even do that. They didn't even try to orient the little kids, which, I mean, sure. I mean, it could be a little too far. I mean, it could be like, oh, okay, we're taking it too far because we're not telling the kids. But it's just like, I think that would have helped the film.
Mm-hmm.
I think just orient the kids and just really give them like a little mini history lesson. I don't know where that would have fit. That could have been the shaman's like role as well, because I thought the shaman didn't do shit other than just hop around and be ridiculed. But that could have been a role there, right? Of like just orienting to the kids of like, you know, Goku and Vegeta are not the only strong ones in the universe, and like you're about to meet somebody
Yeah.
that both of your dads ate shit against, and it
Right.
took Goku's to the extreme to be able to defeat him. So like, you know, respect your elders in many ways, or respect who you're about to come in front of. And like the film could have, taken that. But I'm gonna go back to this Brock Lesnar thing, because I feel like you're getting me hyped up right now, because this guy, this Broly guy is just. I had so many emotions yesterday watching this film of just like, this is so ridiculous. But I'm gonna go back to Brock Lesnar.
Okay.
There was a point where Brock Lesnar was fighting The Rock, and
Okay.
and 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 I remember that being one of my favorite
Fights.
storylines with Brock. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
one of my favorite storylines with The Rock, because The Rock was so charismatic.
Mm-hmm.
He was so charismatic that he could make up for Brock Lesnar's like lack of charisma. He,
Mm-hmm.
he
Mm-hmm.
didn't need Paul Heyman to be in front of him, because The Rock could carry it. Like
Mm-hmm.
The Rock could like do, like he could ridicule him, he can make fun of him, he can do all these different things. But then The Rock, when he needed to, he got serious. And I think that when I
Mm-hmm.
see this film, like there was never anything there of like somebody that can match Broly's like bland personality, you know.
Or make up for it, right?
Or make up for it. There's literally nobody in this film that made up for that lack of like charisma.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, the little kids are not charismatic. That's
Mm-mm.
the unfortunate part about it. I would
Right.
even say that they're not even charming. Like
Right.
Gohan, the same thing. Like if Gohan's taking himself too serious. Like dog, you're the Saiyaman.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you're too serious. So I don't know. Yeah.
I feel
I
like
feel like I got dumb watching this film, dude.
no, and I hear you. I felt like, to me, I wrote it down. I was like, yeah, Broly was insufferable in this. Like he couldn't make up for the lack of, you know, character development. I mean, he was by the. I will say this: when he popped out of the water and Videl saw him from a distance, I was like, oh, he looks badass there. Like you couldn't really make out Broly per se, but you could see it was someone, and it looked menacing. It looked it looked cool, I thought. But again, he's shallow. There's nothing there. I mean, he's just saying Kakarot, Kakarot, Kakarot all the time. And
Yeah.
that's the most ridiculous way for like I don't think there's been a villain who's been less charismatic than this man. Like more bland than Broly.
Yeah.
And by the by minute like 40, I was like, dude, I'm annoyed with this fool. Like he just keeps saying Kakarot,
Yeah.
Kakarot, and then Kakarot. Like, all right, dude, we get it. You hate Goku, but like, damn, dude. For Paragus being as intelligent as he is, the man didn't teach you like how to express yourself. Uh,
Anything.
yeah.
It's just
But then he puts together like this menacing sentence, like at the end, like you said, minute 44. He strings together like an extremely menacing sentence. But the 43 minutes of the movie prior to that, we just think this dude is the definition of all what is all bronze, no brains. Like
yeah.
he's just he's a more like without Paragus, I'm telling you, like the Broly movies, they would not do well. Because I know we watched the latest one in theaters when it came out, and it did like insane numbers. But there was a lot of hype behind that movie. And also, like I said, I just don't that Broly is a kind of different Broly, and we'll get to that movie. But I just think Paragus is such an interesting character that he glues it all together, and he like you said, The Rock, he made up for Brock Lesnar's lack of charisma, and Paul Heyman,
Yeah,
those dudes' name, yeah, he also was able to do that. And Paragus does that, Vegeta could do that also, I feel, because Vegeta has always got that swagger to him. Frieza can do that too. And in that other Broly movie, the latest one, the Broly Super, you got all of those dudes in there, right?
yeah,
Like, so we'll get to that movie. But this just like, if anything, this was a movie that left Broly naked because it showed how uninteresting he is as a character, because he's not showing us anything we haven't seen before, right?
yeah. Hmm.
Where he's just this big strong monster that his only motivation is to kill Goku because Goku cried really loud and it annoyed Broly. And where Paragus had like a real motivation, he was slandered. His son was gonna get killed. He had a real like thirst for vengeance, and you could argue it was justified. And so, dude, had Broly been an interesting character, the way we even thought Turles was interesting, I thought this movie could have been at least watchable. Like
Yeah,
a one I would say, you know what? Watch it just for Broly. He's got a great story, interesting character, because his dance partners, holy mama, Goten and Trunks, nah. Videl,
that ain't
like,
it.
yeah, they're not, dude. Like, it would have been cool if it was Videl and Gohan. You know what I'm saying? Instead of them
Hmm.
too. And like, it's kind of Videl and Gohan. Obviously, they're a couple, and they're trying to deal with this huge monster. And it's kind of like, I don't know, maybe it helps their relationship in a way. I felt like they could have taken it. They could have anything but Goten and Trunks. Like, and I think it would have at least been better. But yeah, dude, Broly, he was a straight up disappointment.
Yeah, the disappointment is an understatement, dog. Like I think one of the things that like, I mean, I think it's insulting our intelligence. What this movie, and like another thing
I
that
feel
just
you.
like,
I can see that you feel like you dropped IQ points
yeah, dude, like it was
after
just
watching
so
this.
ridiculous. Like they did so many things. Like, so like one of the things that I remember, I'm gonna put two because it'll lead me into my next question for you. But like
Mhm.
this first piece is like Goten is not Goku.
No,
So
yeah.
why would he confuse Goten for Goku? I don't care if he looks like him. Like he's still a child. The last time that you saw Goku, he was an adult. You never even saw him as a child. So why would you think that that's Goku? And if you really thought that that was Goku, then that should have been layered throughout the whole film that Goten's appearance was going to be the downfall of the team. But that wasn't
Mhm.
even like explained. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just
Mhm.
like, well, he looks like Goku, so it's like having Goku, but not really having Goku. So it's
Yeah.
like, to me that was just hella dumb. And then the second one that just grinds my gears was, I mean, this is probably the only thing that I actually enjoyed, and it was a very small appearance by my guy Krillin. It. I
Damn,
mean,
dude, I was gonna get to that.
dude, I mean, look, very small appearance, but I gotta say, this should be his lane right here. Like
Yeah.
I think this should be his lane. Very small appearance, but again, it's insulting our intelligence because it's saying that like we didn't just see, well, one, Gohan just goes to sleep after putting the guy
In
in lava, and,
lava. Like,
and he
bro,
doesn't decide to move. I'm like, dog, come on, man.
muster up some energy and get on out of there.
Dude, get to higher ground, dog. You're in the
Right.
middle of the lava. So he falls asleep there, and then all of a sudden we have our guy come in and save him. And
What
like
did you
the
think
movie
when you
can,
saw that though? When
dude, when I
Gohan
so
was
so it was funny because I was watching the film and then I'm like, oh snap, we're like 15 minutes away from the film ending. So I'm like, we're not gonna get a Piccolo saving scene. This is great. I wrote it. I can show you my notes. I wrote it and I'm like, this is tight. Like we're not gonna get a Piccolo scene. No later than like a minute or two we get Piccolo saving them, or at least what we think is
right.
Piccolo. And Well, I still think it's Piccolo. I mean, that's my theory. I think it's Piccolo still, and something happened.
Interesting.
Maybe they changed bodies or something. But like, yeah. So we see the freaking cape and the head and the freaking head wrap, and it's Krillin. But Krillin, I mean, he got me, man. He got me. He's the only thing that was redeemable about this film, and his appearance was what, like 15 seconds, if that.
Yeah, if
When
that.
when he gave the sarcastic comment. I forget what it was, but he made me laugh with that one. He's like, I think it's just how awesome I am at this or something like that, and just blasted away.
Yeah. And let me also touch up on that, because I had written that down too. When I see Gohan, I was like, now I know Gohan's gonna live. Like, we know but how the hell is he gonna actually live? I didn't even think Piccolo is gonna show up, dude. And then I see Piccolo show up. I go like this. I throw my hands up in the air, dude. I'm like, hell no, dude. Hell no. Of course. Of course.
Of course.
And like, I feel like this was what made me go from the word trash to satirical, because at that point, I see Piccolo, and I'm like, oh, of course, hands up in the air. I'm like, I give up. And then when I see, they get to higher ground and Gohan's he regains consciousness, I see, and then I see the shot, and I'm like, of course, it's Piccolo. He's menacing. It looks like he's gonna. I'm like, he better not. When I saw him, I'm like, he better not take on Broly, dude. I swear, if he goes in to take on Broly, dude, I'm done. And then I see it's Krillin, and Krillin, like you said, he's a funny mother, what, and I was like, this is why I think the movie's satirical, because even the writers know that Piccolo is this Mr. Save Gohan or Captain Save Gohan
Yeah.
whenever Gohan's in trouble. And so even they know that. Like, they know that the fans have now, they view Piccolo, because they've obviously written it like that. Piccolo is the guy who's always going to save Gohan. And so they threw it in again. And because literally Gohan, yeah, he got destroyed, but it wasn't like it was like, dude, you just went through lava. You were able to do that. And now, like, that, I'm sure it takes a ridiculous amount of energy. I'm sure you could muster up a little bit more to fly up a little bit higher to get to higher ground. But this man decides to rest on the bedrock and wait for the lava. Like, the lava's about to disintegrate him. It just felt like they were trying to put him in a precarious situation, so that Piccolo could make an entrance, and when he did, they played on it, because they were like, I even laughed when I saw it was Krillin. I was like, oh, these motherfuckers, they're playing with us, dude. They know that we always give them crap because Piccolo shows up, and he's just like Mr. Save Gohan. And that's what he's been reduced to. His formula is save Gohan, get one shot.
Yep. That's his appearance. Summing it up.
So, it kind of made me laugh, but at the same time, the fact that it made me laugh showed me that they weren't even taking this movie too serious. But then Broly is a serious mother effer. Like, that's not a dude you could really joke with. So, I felt like this was satirical from minute one, and it didn't even really hit. Even with Videl, there's that moment where Videl's getting crushed, and she's like, I can't go out like this. I'm the daughter of Mr. Satan. I'm like, dude, yeah, you're the daughter of Mr. Satan. That's why you're about to go out like this. Like, and the fact that they said that, it shows me, like, I don't know, that they were maybe trying to make this movie funny, but it will never ever work with Broly. Like, there could be moments of comedy, but never could the theme of the movie be like satirical. All right, like, because Broly's not a dude that will that kind of fits that mold. So
yeah, I guess I didn't really look at it that way in regards to that. Maybe it's just all satirical, because I wrote it down in my notes of like, well, this this is reminding me of satire, and
Mhm.
and now that you're saying it, that yes, there actually are a lot of points where it's just satire. So maybe we're looking at this film all wrong, and maybe our listeners, if you watch this, I mean, don't go in it with the idea that you're about to get a real like a Broly movie like the first one. Maybe they're
Right.
just accepting the fact that they can't reproduce, they can't hit, they can't strike lightning or whatever the hell that shit is
Yeah,
called,
strike. Yeah, strike.
twice. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Right.
can't
Yeah.
do it again, so maybe they're just
Lightning
accepting
can
it.
strike twice. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wish
But
that
it
it would be
doesn't
a little
work
bit
with
more.
Broly though, right? Because like
No, it
Broly doesn't
doesn't.
fit that mold.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it could. I mean, it could. It could work, but you would need to. You would need somebody that can at least match his seriousness. And I think that their attempt to do that was Gohan, and Gohan is just at this point, he's just not it. I think we've all come to accept that he's just not. He's just not the guy. He's just not charismatic. He's not the boy. He's not. He's not the one going to carry on the reins. And I think that that's where they messed up. That they made him. I would have preferred Vegeta to be the protagonist.
Oh,
I would
for
have.
sure.
Because I think, I mean, honestly, I know you're saying that the kids are like the main things, but I don't think it's I don't think it's those kids. I think it's Gohan. So the kids are just there as a subplot, in my opinion. They're not there as the main characters.
Dude, I think
Because
here's
even in the way, and again, it goes back to Gohan real quick. It
Mhm.
is like, and the reason that Gohan doesn't work, there's a lot of characters in this movie that don't work. And
Mhm.
the main reason that Gohan doesn't work is that last part of the movie where Big Boy Goku comes back
Yep.
and comes in and saves Gohan again. And
Yep.
we talked about this in
BoJack
BoJack
Unbound.
Unbound, and it happened here again. And this time it was even more ridiculous than the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Like,
Because
they had no explanation for that.
no, well, here's the thing. I will say this, and you're right. I do want to expand on that a little bit. What you were saying about Gohan, and actually, now that you're saying it, so the only reason why I could maybe agree with that is because at the end, Gohan's the one who launches it. He's the one dancing with Broly, and he launches the Kamehameha. And Goten joins, but they're not. The fighting is not really like Goten. It's more, yeah, Gohan's coming in to save the day, right? And then he launches a Kamehameha. Um, the one thing I will say though is at the end, uh, Goten, he says, "I wish my dad were here," right? And you're right. Goku shows up again. They
You up the
tried to
Goku music.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
They tried to redo the father son Kamehameha like they did with Gohan and Goku when he defeated Cell. And the one thing was at the end of the movie when they've defeated Broly or whatever, the narrator he says, they defeated Broly with the help of Goku. Was Goku wished back or was he just an illusion? Right?
Yeah.
I do kind of like that they left that ambiguity there because it makes the viewer have to decide like, wait, was Goku really there helping or did he actually get nah, it's true, dude. Like I'm not reaching because this is
Yeah.
because here it is. Like, were they really like the ones who defeated him and they dug down, or did Goku really come through? Because I didn't see Shenron pop up. You see what I'm saying? Like, so I like that there was that ambiguity there. And what they kind of tried to do was like, maybe they were like, damn, we don't want Goku to like steal the shine again. So we're gonna say, oh, maybe Goku didn't actually come. It was just an illusion. Maybe it was Goten and Gohan all along. That's kind of how I
So that's
interpreted that.
your interpretation of what
It
happened
is.
there.
It is.
Okay. My interpretation is that Shenron just brought him back.
But we didn't
because
see
because
Shenron
at the
pop up though.
because I know, but I mean, dude, this movie's ridiculous. So like, it's breaking all sorts of ridiculousness in here. So like,
Yeah,
I wouldn't
it's
be so
reaching
like,
levels of
from what I
ridiculousness.
understand and what I've read and what I've heard is that Shenron wishes him back because he wants to help Goku. Because at the end of the film, you see the Dragon Balls disperse. So that
Yeah.
means a wish was made.
That's
So
true.
to
That's
me,
true.
So to me, I'm like, okay, and it
I
could
didn't even
it could
think
have
of
been
that.
Goten, but they didn't show the dialogue. But I don't believe that. So my guess here is that Shenron was the one that brought him back just for this
Yeah,
moment. And
that's true.
I don't, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying about, yes, it could leave the audience of like, picking almost like you come up with the conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that doesn't sit well with me about that though is the fact that this movie thinks that we care. like that's the thing that is like it thinks that it's laying down this like cliffhanger that like we're at the edge of our seats,
Yeah.
that like
We were checked out
like,
all the by
yeah,
that
like
by that moment.
by the point that this happens, dog, like I'm already ready to turn this stuff off.
Right.
So like it the movie, and that's what I'm saying, and I love that point that you made about that this movie is a satire, because that right there tells you how confused the writers were,
Mm-hmm.
because they don't know if they want it to be satire or if they want to be serious. That
Mm-hmm.
cliffhanger is for a serious movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mix well with the satire that you just laid down. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
I'm taking that now as like it's satire that you didn't know how to come up with the conclusion.
Right. And that's why I'm saying, like, it doesn't work trying to have a satirical movie with Broly, because like the stakes are way too high with someone like Broly coming in for you to be laughing your ass off throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I mean, yeah, no, I hear you. I hear you. In conclusion, the movie was trash.
Yeah.
That's what we're coming to. All right.
Well, I know you're trying to find like some saving graces here, but it's just
You gotta,
yeah, I don't know.
yeah, you really. I mean, I was scraping at the bottom of the barrel. There's no doubt. And
well, bless your heart, because I feel like the only redeeming quality of this film that I saw was Krillin, and that was about it. And he was an appearance of like 15 seconds. So
yeah, he was more charismatic than Goten and Trunks.
Yep, in that little 15 seconds. Yep.
So should we get to what the people are saying?
Yeah, let's see what the people are saying. I'm curious to see what people are saying about this.
Well, dude, this movie, it got some pretty harsh reviews.
Oh, well, look at that.
Yeah. So, and some people had a lot to say. Others had nothing to say. But like, or they didn't have as much to say. They didn't care to write out so much. So the first one was just a straight 1 out of 10. Poor humor, a shallow story, and a boring fight. I feel like that hits right with like everything you're saying. This one here, Lucas put great comedy, kind of lacking everything else. Gave it a 2 out of 10 also, or gave it a 2 out of 10. I don't know if the comedy was great, to be honest, and there were only, you have to really, like I said, look hard to find redeeming pieces.
Yeah.
All right, this one is long-winded, and looks like this person was very very disappointed. It says a bit of it's Eric Stevenson, 6 out of 10. A bit of a disappointment. That's the title of the review. It was interesting to see Vidal actually playing a fairly big role in one of these movies. Unfortunately, this movie made the mistake of being too short, which is what which is what made the original so good. I also missed Piccolo, Future Trunks, and Vegeta. The end credits actually show stock footage from the first movie. Couldn't they even show stock footage from their own movie? Of course, this was by no means terrible. It helps that we have all the great actions that the series is known for. But it is great to see Broly's back. I mean, I thought the review was going to be more scathing. But certainly that was a reviewer, a Dragon Ball fan who didn't want to grill the movie, but was disappointed. This one here, he really doesn't hold back. This is Adam is so faking awesome. This is a 5 out of 10. He says, he titles it saying, Broly stares menacingly while everyone does whatever they want. Unlike how in the previous movie, he was a brutal killing machine of unbridled insanity. That is a short title.
Yeah,
Okay.
get that little title out of here. the concise title. We gotta love it.
He said, felt like it was phoned in. The worst of all the DBZ movies I've seen. Broly wasn't even anything like the Broly from the first movie. He was basically neutered. He was brutal in the first movie, death incarnate. But in this one, he was just kind of floated. He just kind of floated around, waiting for everyone to do whatever they wanted. They could have thrown a party in the middle of the fight, and he would have just floated in the background menacingly until they decided it was time to fight again. Gohan and Trunks didn't even seem. I mean, I think it. Oh, Gohan and Trunks didn't even seem to recognize him. No look of fear or even mentioning that they believe he died. It seemed like they made this just because they could, not because they had good, not because they had a good or thought out idea for a movie. Terrible and disappointing. Um, it's something. Yeah, I mean, and you get the, you
Let me
get
get the
the,
10 out of 10.
yeah,
Dog.
you
Let me
get the
let me
10
hear
out of
let me hear a
10.
10 out of 10. I want to hear the delusion on this.
All right, all right. Yeah, you're gonna make me read some. Nah, this man wrote an essay, bro. Okay, but this is a 10 out of 10. Bear with me, all right? This is an
All right.
essay. This is literally 6 paragraphs. Okay.
Six paragraphs.
This is the only 10 out of 10 I see. The mean, lean killing machine Broly is back in action.
There you
Okay.
go.
Minor warning, this review does contain spoilers. Okay. Uh, oh god, so he gives a plot. I'm just gonna start here. This is the second of the 4 Broly films I'm binge watching. Broly, the legendary Super Saiyan, being the first one I watched. Needless to say, it has just as much action as the first Broly film, but some comic relief as well, specifically in the form of Goten and Trunks. After collecting 6 of the Dragon Balls with Videl, Goten, and Trunks. Oh, after collecting 6 of the Dragon Balls, Videl, Goten, and Trunks head off to stop a T-Rex that's been terrorizing the village. However, when Videl smacks an apple off of Goten's hand, okay, this man is just explaining the movie. The movie does lose some points for me, however, because of Broly's death at the end. He could have at least apologized for what he did to Goku and the rest of the gang, but Broly dying in the sun was cool as well. Okay, this was bless that reviewer's heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Bless that reviewer's heart. Um, maybe, here's the thing, dude. Not every If this is a 10 out of 10, bro, then some of the movies we've watched before are a 20 out of 10. You know
Yeah,
what
they're
I'm saying?
masterpieces. Yeah.
Right. And hey, everyone has a different palette and they have a different expectation. But for sure, this movie, I they thought they could just ride off the train, ride Broly's hype train,
Mm-hmm.
and they would deliver like a great product, but that wasn't the case. I mean, you got 4 out of 10s here. Broly returns. Just do not expect the super fight he had in the previous movie. Yeah, most of the fan base or the reviewers are disappointed. So I'm actually surprised because we haven't seen many critical reviews.
Yeah.
But this one, like, it was it was such a horrific film that there's almost no way it couldn't have bad
We
reviews.
be honest with ourselves. It's
Right.
great.
So well, with that said, I mean there's no way this is getting a good review, but let's get to the personal ranking or the personal rating. What do you give this out of 7 Dragon Balls, and
I'm a
why?
man. I'm a man of the people, and I feel like I gotta agree with the people here. This movie was pretty bad, dude. I wrote this in my notes. So like, this is probably one of the worst movies that I've seen on this journey that I've embarked on here with here at the podcast. And the reality of it is this movie, its opponents, like where it's ranked for me, is
Uh-huh.
Fusion 13 and The Return of Cooler. So it's between those 3 as to what's the worst movie I've seen so far. And I gotta say, I I don't know. I think a part of me wants to put this below Fusion 13
Nah,
and
this ain't
below
that, dude.
and
Well,
below.
actually, okay.
I think it's at the really bottom for me. I
Mhm.
think it's probably the worst film that I've seen so far.
Jeez.
on this journey.
This
So I
should
would
get
give
a
this
0.
if I could give 0 stars, I think I would give it a 0 star. But we haven't necessarily
Done that, right?
put that in our rubric. So
Right.
I'm gonna give it a 1. And
Okay.
if you're if you're contemplating watching it, I mean, try to watch it, but just know that it's gonna be rough
Dude,
to see.
Bio-Broly, I think, is better, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I
At
think
least for what it is.
if you want to just skip this one and just go straight to Bio Broly, I think you have a better dynamic there between
Yeah.
Broly and the kids. This one's hard to watch, dude. This one was
Mhm.
hard to watch because I was like, there's a lot of
So,
plot holes in this. So
mhm, just
I'm at a 1 here.
1, and it's understandable. I I also thought this movie was horrific, and I never thought I could watch a movie that was worse than Super Fusion 13 or whatever. I thought that was literally the writers, like, they had a deadline and they just mailed it in. They were like, whatever you come up with, throw it on the board. Um, but the thing with, that movie, it was that they weren't riding the hype of a character like Broly. So the expectation isn't necessarily there. This is a sequel of the Broly movie, where Broly is a character. He's a big ticket character. As much as I thought, like, Android 13, me personally, I thought he was pretty cool. That's not a man that's going to carry a movie. Like, that man
Yeah,
is not going to carry, he's not a big ticket. He's not a draw.
yeah,
Broly, his name alone is a draw. And the fact that they have him in the roster, in the cast for this movie, and he was, I mean, he was, I don't know if he was worse than Goten and Trunks, but the fact that he's like, that's even a conversation shows like how bad he was, at least for me. And
yeah.
so he was insufferable. It shows like he needs a Paragus type of character around him because he has no personality, no charisma. Um, and the movie was straight up just trash, like
That's what it is,
absolute
dude.
garbage. There's very, very little
Garbanzo
redeemable.
beans.
Yeah, dude. I was like, I'm glad this thing was just 45 minutes. If it was 30, it would have been better. This could have been a filler episode. Um,
Not
but
even that, dude. Wouldn't have
yeah,
even
like,
been
not
that,
even put
dude.
it on the screen.
Don't even put it on the screen. I'm like, it's not
Yeah.
even that, dude.
And I think, like, that's why Toriyama was like, nah, we got to rewrite this character, this Broly character. We got to rewrite this man because
Yeah,
he went from bad to worse. Like, from the first movie, he was kind of like, okay, introduction, kind of, he's all right. But, definitely Parik is the one that's like putting the movie together. And then here it just shows all his flaws. Um, and so, yeah, to me, I'm gonna have to go 1. This is trash can material. Uh, this is literally your waste management garbage disposable this garbage bin. This was straight trash, dude.
yeah. Dog.
So
If you see this
definitely,
even like at a sales bin or like just walk right by it, dog.
yeah,
Like
don't even
don't
try. I
even
mean,
attempt to try to get it, dude. Even if it's $1, don't even like. You could spend your
don't waste your
dollar
time.
better somewhere
Yeah,
else,
you
dude.
could go buy yourself a chocolate. Like, that'll be
Yeah,
more enjoyable.
that'd be more satisfying
Right.
than what we just saw on our screens. But if you're a Broly fan, check it out. But I think we can say it's safe to say that this movie was
The only thing this does
pretty bad.
is it sets the floor as to, like, there's no way anything can get worse than this. Like,
Let's
you know,
hope.
yeah, I hope so. But
Let's hope. Let's hope this
but
is the bottom. I
yeah,
thought Fusion 13 was the bottom, and I didn't think that it was gonna get worse, like you said. But
yeah, we'll see.
Broly proved
I
us
I, I
wrong. It's the
think
sequels, dog. It's the sequels. I'm telling
they
you. I'm
fall
telling you, it's the
super
sequels.
flat. Yeah.
For me, it's the sequels. Both. It's not by coincidence the two sequels that I've given a 1 are they're just bad.
Hmm. Yeah, I
So
mean, yeah, it's true. And sequels in and of itself, they're difficult to do. But this was like trash. They didn't know whether it was satire, whether it was serious. The comic relief fell short. Like, only Krillin I thought was the funniest dude, and he had like 4 lines in the entire movie. Um, I love Dragon Ball, but I just felt like, this movie, yeah, this wasn't it. This is at the but when we do our tier list, I already know where this thing's going. I mean, I think everyone does, but
Yeah,
um, yeah, well, should we sign off, dude?
let's do it.
Let's do it. All right. Well, thank you guys for taking the time to listen today. We appreciate your listenership. Um, let us know what you thought about the movie. Was it trash? Was it good? Um, did you guys like it? I mean, if you did, that's totally fine. You're entitled to your opinion. Uh, did we miss something? Did we miss an Easter egg that maybe made the movie a little more redeemable? Let us know. You can listen to us on all the podcast platforms. If you're listening to us on YouTube, feel free to hit the like and subscribe. And yeah, we'll have all our social media down in the description where you can follow us. And with that, we will sign off. Any final words, Chewing?
Uh, just make sure you leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Just that'll help us out a little bit, and visit our social media page and share it with a friend.
Yep.
Listen to it, and
If
you,
they
you
like
know they like
Dragon Ball,
Dragon
and
Ball.
if they like Broly,
And if they like Broly, share it with
Broly
them.
second coming,
Yeah.
share this with them. But all right, we'll go ahead and sign off, and we'll be back next week. Until then, stay safe.